Oh, Papa Top again. Louis on the cue. He's got the Miller Lite. What's up, everybody? Welcome to Uncanceled Culture. I am Porky.
The Louis.
And Burke.
And there's Crank for you.
Yeah, Burp and Cranky.
And it's not just the Miller Lite.
Man, that was milk.
It's the.
Did it smell like Hooters?
It's the company Miller Lite. Oh man,
It smelled like Hooters wings, not
Hooters.
not actual Hooters.
No. It wasn't a good smell.
Yeah.
Well, is that a good thing if they smell, or because you don't want smelly boob in your mouth?
That's true too.
Oh man, what's up, everybody? Here we go. So, Louis, your week?
It was Thanksgiving, man.
Well,
It was Thanksgiving, so I didn't eat as much as I thought I was going to eat.
I was just gonna say that
I didn't eat as much as I normally. I mean, I did have 2 helpings that on Thursday.
Yeah.
Started off at my parents' house and had my full serving there.
Yeah.
And then went over to Sabrina's family's house. And he doesn't have the bottle.
He
today.
looked over there too.
I know. I looked over there waiting to
I was
see.
gonna stop and buy one, but
we gotta go.
It was already here.
He was already here. Damn, I should have brought one. I should have brought one.
But your nosy neighbor over there.
nosy
Trying to
neighbor. Was it Nelson? What's the Home Improvement? Wilson was looking over the.
He was keeping watch of the house. Are you waiting for somebody? Yeah.
Oh
Mind
my
your business.
goodness, mind your business.
business, lady. So anyway,
They went to her family's house and we ate there again, and so. But other than that, man, it was just chill. Visited with family. My sister was in town and just visited and hung out. Had a cousin's thing on Saturday, and he get 60-something Puerto Rican. And there's some of them, man, that we're like, woo. This is why we get together once a year.
Was that y'all were dressed up, right?
Yeah, we did a pajama.
I wasn't stalking your page.
Yeah, we did a pajama
It just happened to
thing.
come
I didn't see that one.
You didn't see that one?
No,
Yeah.
I didn't go look for it, but it just popped up.
It was a matching pajama
On your
thing.
For You page.
On the For You. Yep.
Cranky, what happened, man? What's up? How was your Thanksgiving?
It was, it's not the same as usual.
Yeah.
But I had 2 lazy days this weekend, Friday and Sunday. I just couldn't get up.
Yeah. Well, you had all that. You were home all week. Right?
Yeah. I was home all week. Friday, I just didn't want to get up. And yesterday, I just couldn't get up. It was one of those freaking days that you just overdo it one day before.
Right.
And the other 2 days, you just like, I need to settle down already.
I think I need to slow
Yeah,
down.
until this day comes and okay, we'll try again.
Yeah.
And then you try again, and the next day you're like, fuck, what the hell did I try for?
Then you remembered that you were almost 50.
But it's like they say, I can't drink like I used to, but I try.
It doesn't mean I'm not going to try, though.
Anything we're trying is worth trying well.
Yeah,
So.
man. It was. I didn't expect to drink this week or the way I did.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah.
remember, I wasn't even drinking when we recorded last time.
Oh, yeah.
So I was like, man, I'm not gonna drink, right? And I
truth.
was like, whatever. And then Wednesday night, that went out the door. Thursday, honestly, Thanksgiving, I had 4 shots, and I didn't drink anything else.
Oh, just
Yeah,
4
but I didn't drink anything else.
just 4
That's,
shots.
hey, man, that's a slow day. But then Friday,
That's a Monday for me.
yeah. Then Friday, Saturday, Sunday, yeah, it was they just say.
I just haven't had the urge to drink for different reasons, but yesterday, really, the Lord's Day, don't drink on the Lord's Day, but I had 3 dosaritas at down there at Sabor.
And 1 dosarita, I'm gonna open my pants and 2 dosaritas.
Exactly. I was hoping to get to 6 base. I was hoping to get some action.
But here's the problem: you were drinking. Was she drinking the dosaritas?
No, she wasn't drinking.
See, that's the problem.
She had one.
That's the problem.
Well, you didn't get to the 4 dosarita, right? Because 4 dosarita, you put it in the tush.
Do I put it in the tush?
I don't know. But the song says they put it in they get it in the tush. So
Somebody's gonna get it in the tush. I don't know, and hopefully it's not me. But no, my Thanksgiving actually just spent it with family and man, like I was exactly what Louis was saying. I ate 1 fucking plate.
Yeah.
And a shit ton of desserts. This is what I had. Like, it was like a slice of pie with about half a
Whipped cream.
tub of whipped cream on it. But dude,
So
that was
it was
like
whipped cream with a side of pie.
Yeah. So
hair pie.
so which pie though?
Okay. Well, here's another argument: is it pecan or pecan?
It's to me, it's pecan.
It's pecan,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Why do people say pecan?
I don't know.
Because they're not from
They're
South
not
Texas.
from here. They're not from here. Like
No,
people,
but you know what? Even people. Well, yeah, not South Texas. You get people from like West Texas say it the same way, pecan. Or East Texas.
It's like Pecan Valley. Is it Pecan Valley or Pecan Valley?
It's pecan.
Exactly.
Oh.
Well, anyway, I
Anyway.
had
So that's your choice of pie.
no. I pumpkin all the
okay.
way, dude.
There you go.
Pumpkin.
That's what I'm talking about.
But like I said, I had a slice of everything. I had pumpkin. I had pecan. I had everything. The only thing I didn't have was like the good rolls from HEB.
Oh,
Dude,
So which ones?
the good rolls from HEB, the
Whoever
Hill 50
they-
Fair ones.
Oh,
yeah, the little.
They don't order enough anymore. They run out. They run out days before, bro.
Whoever was in charge of bringing the rolls brought like those
The sweet Hawaiian?
Yeah.
So let me tell you.
Yes, exactly.
Let me tell you.
What
So,
the fuck is
I
that?
didn't know that we were in charge of taking. So we signed up for her family, right? We signed up for certain things. We signed up for drinks and corn, and I didn't realize that we had signed up for rolls. So my parents' house, we had the good rolls,
Yeah, of course, because they
But-
got everything early, right?
but we took the sweet Hawaiian rolls over there to her family's house, and I was like, "Yeah, they don't want to roll. No, it's okay. I'm good."
I wonder why.
Yeah, that's not my favorite.
Oh, man. Well, that's good, man. I'm glad everybody had.
I didn't have as much dessert as I wanted to, though.
Well, it was reversed. It's weird. It was reversed. Like usually, man, I couldn't wait. Like I was like, man, I'm gonna have like 3 plates of
Yeah.
nothing but corn, fucking turkey and mashed potatoes, dude. I
Yeah.
don't give a shit about stuffing and cranberry, all that shit. And I was like, dude, why did I eat almost a whole pie
Yeah, yeah,
and 1 serving of turkey?
yeah.
All right. Well, we got. I self came up with this little segment, which we're gonna call quick shots.
Quick shots.
Quick shots. So we've got these, little things. I guess maybe not so much.
that fly's been here all day, dude. I haven't caught him yet.
Me and Craig over here swinging for the fences,
See,
man.
there he is. He has been here all day. I can't really catch
we
that
need some.
guy.
We need some chopsticks.
We're gonna name it.
Yeah, you're gonna need a name, man. Your pet now. He's been here too long. We need some chopsticks, man.
Oh my god! So yeah. So the flag, the Daniels. We need Danielson.
We need Danielson.
We need Danielson. in here.
Miyagi-san.
So yeah, quick shots. Because I told these guys, I messaged them and I said, okay, I got some beef with the fucking church, right? And I shouldn't, but it's just a matter of like, if I'm gonna give my hour, give me my hour. Don't give me an hour 5,
Yeah.
an hour 10. But they get the Franciscan dude, man, and those dudes sing everything. Everything, like they're like the Our Father, they get to the point in the thing where they do the Our Father award in heaven. But I was like, no,
and
when
when
he does it, it's a Our Father what's in
one of those.
heaven. I'm like,
Yeah.
But the cool thing about when Our Father comes out is that Mass
it's
is about
almost
to-
there.
Yes.
We're almost there.
We're on the final
Yeah.
stretch.
We're about to go over that hump, baby. We're almost there. But now I'm like, it's funny because the church we go to, the bells go off every hour, so what time it is, right? And so we're sitting there in the church, the mass is still going on, and all of a sudden you hear bing, 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 and then I'm like, 10 o'clock, bro, let's go. Let's pick this up. And Amen. So, look, I'm not attacking the church, all right? Don't come at me with this, well, you're attacking the church. Go to church. Go to whatever mass you want to go to the gay mass, go to the straight mass. I don't care what mass you go. Well, you want to go. Give me my hour and let me go. That's all I'm saying. That's my quick gripe.
Well, so just to chime in, so I used to go to a church, right, that was kind of the same way. They had a certain start time, and they had 2 services, right?
Uh-huh.
So they had they would start at 10 and then have another one at 12 or 9 and 11 or whatever, right? And they would sometimes, man, run all the way to when the other one was about to start, And so you have people waiting outside, and they're like, "Hey, hold on, we're not done." And I'm like,
Sorry, you don't have tickets to this show.
Yeah.
Your tickets are for the other
o'clock show, not this show.
I was like, those, man, when you're sitting there, it's dragging, right? So we go to one now, and it's kind of like an hour and a half, and they cut it, it's a little less than that. But it's not bad. Like, honestly, that one I could sit through. It's fine. It's not, and they're not gonna drag it on.
Wow.
They have another service too that starts right after, like at 11 or something.
Wow.
And we know that we get in, and we know what time we're getting out, and we know what time breakfast is. So we know what time to pick up the barbacoa.
We can't wait. Oh yeah. So you got to get there early, man. You got to get there early. You got to go. I got to go. Get me out of here.
But we're not saying, not to go to church.
No.
But if you don't, we understand.
There's a reason why. You obviously didn't, were out the night before, causing shenanigans, sinning, having premarital sex and stuff like. Oh, the one time that dude, I don't know. I don't know where they found this guy, but they need to find somebody else. He started talking about premarital sex, and it made everybody uncomfortable, man. It really did. Like, you could feel it.
Yeah.
The tension.
The tension. And when he started talking about it, it was like kind of like everybody was all like curling up, like, oh my God, why is he talking about this? So yeah, ever since he showed up, it's like
I would have been like,
what?
Where? Now you got my attention.
Anyway, that was my gripe, man. That was my quick shot.
That was your quick shot
to the church. Go to church. I'm not saying not to go to church. Just give me my hour. That's all I'm saying.
That's all you need, an hour.
Oh, I know Crank had one. Crank, what's your quick shot of the day?
Self-checkouts. Are they like the most, what did I say? How did I say it to the other day? The most ironic invention in the world. Because people don't want to work, but they want to use self-checkout.
And that's the longest line. Well, in certain stores' defense, right? That's the longest line. But in Walmart, that's the only line.
The only line.
Like, you literally there's 2 lanes that are open, and one of them is the one that has the cigarettes.
Right.
And then they have one random one open, even though they have 25 lanes.
Yep.
They have that one and one other one, and then they have the 2 self-checkout sites.
Well, depending on which one you go to, like the one closest to me is the bigger area that's kind of separated to where like the smaller items go on one side and the people with big baskets go on the other because there's more room. And then even further down, they have another area of self-checkouts.
Yeah.
Mm.
So in between that, they have like 3 or 4 lanes, but nobody's on them.
Well, and H-E-B has it like that too. H-E-B, so the one, I don't know. Yeah, I think Valley High has it too, but I know like the one on Marbach as well. They have the self-checkout, which is 10 items or less.
Right.
And then you have your other one where you put the stuff on the conveyor belt and then you scan it.
Yeah, I see now.
They bag it for you.
Yeah. I just went through that the other day. I was like,
yeah. So I mean, that was actually pretty cool. I like that one, right? But you deal with the people that like, I don't know if you saw that one video where the guy goes, or the girl comes in, the wife comes in complaining. She's like, "Man, I had to deal with a bitch today at the grocery store." He's like, "Oh, were you in the self-checkout?"
But self-checkout is 10 items or less.
Yes.
You don't need to be going there with 20 items, dude.
Yeah.
But they play stupid. That's why, like, we were talking about it.
Yes.
People play stupid.
And then they're stuck on stupid because they don't know how to use a self-checkout.
And they're always calling for the person.
If they're over the age of 60, oh my God.
No, you know what?
You already know.
Here's what I'm going to say.
Shit.
Maybe even under the age of 20 or 25, because they're just as naive or just as dumb, man. And the thing is that they go over there and, like you said, they're trying to scan everything. They don't even know how to use the produce lookup. You know, like they literally have put the sticker on the produce now, so you can just scan it because people don't know how to look up. You know what I mean?
And even if you can't look up the number, you just type in the
tomato. Yes. But you know what? Here's the problem. Here's the problem. They don't know how to spell.
They don't know how to spell either.
Español or English?
They're all like papita not coming up.
So, and you know what? Here's how it was funny. So at our cousin's thing, one of the games that we played was a spelling bee, right?
Oh.
So it originally was supposed to be you had 4 people. you would give them an English word, and they had to translate it into Spanish. So they had to say it in Spanish and then spell it in Spanish, right?
Oh,
so you have to raise your hand and they call on you. Well, they didn't get any of the first 4 words, so they changed it to just an English spelling bee. And even at that, I'm sitting there like, are you serious? The way some of these people were spelling, man, it was
the I before E.
Dude, I was sitting there like,
C.
no, wrong. Yeah, it was horrible, dude.
Were they the
Hip hop anonymous. And that was one of the words. That's bullshit. He came on the easy ones.
always wins.
Oh, from Big Daddy.
Yeah, Big Daddy, yeah.
Oh man.
So I mean, but self checkout, like people they play stupid. And I did go to that one that you were talking about where you scan the items yourself, but then there's a person there from the store that.
Well, they're sitting there looking at the screen to make sure you're scanning the right stuff too. So.
But the lady that was on the other, because there's 2 rows.
Yeah,
it's one place, but there's 2 rows. So the lady on the other side was like, "I can't find the avocado. I can't find." Lady, the sticker has the number on it. Just put the number in and it weighs it.
It's like we said last week, how some people shouldn't be driving. Some people shouldn't be using self-checkout. You know, it's just...
So I mean, but I guess I see it. Like right when it first came out, it was like, why the fuck do we have to do our own shit? And now I almost kind of like would rather do it myself.
Yeah.
Because I just, I'll just take my time and do it and boom, boom, boom. And, I never have a question. I'm pretty smart.
You don't have to call a price check for tampons.
Exactly. Yeah. Price check, Yolanda. I need a price check.
Price check for Vagisil, aisle 5. Vagisil, aisle 5.
Oh my goodness.
From
Me, myself, and
Irene. Oh, so I do have a question though about when you go to the self-checkout and the number of items, because there's some people that don't get it. When they talk about items, is it each individual item? Or if you're buying 3 ketchups, is that one item because it's ketchup?
It's an item, Louis.
Okay, if you're buying, let's say you're buying Kool-Aid, right? You're buying Kool-Aid, and they used to be 5 for $1 or whatever it was, right? Now they're like 30-something cents each. But if you go buy 5, so those are 5 items.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know this, but
this is why I'm asking.
But if you buy lemons each, it's 1 item.
Exactly.
It'll come out of.
But you don't have to scan each one individually because it asks you
how many do you have,
right?
Yeah. And it'll say 3 at so much each. But with the ketchup, it won't say 3 at so much each.
Well, see, and so how, like, let's say you're buying ramen and you buy a box. Yeah. So they have to count each one, right? So if you're going through the self-checkout, you can't because you're already over the limit. If you're buying a box, because you have to, if you're getting different flavors.
Yeah, right.
So that's what and I know that they have the ability to hit 5 at whatever.
And times it, yeah.
But at the self-checkout, we can't.
Of course.
I thought the box of ramens has a barcode of its own.
It does if you're buying all the same flavors.
Okay.
Yeah, but if you're not, then you have to scan each one.
Because they still come in 6 in a pack.
They do.
They come in like 25 or some shit.
Or
like
some come there's a box of 24.
Oh, yeah.
Or I don't need it, so. But anyway, Louis, you got a gripe?
Oh, I got a bunch of them, man.
Never one to shy away from.
I mean, just idiots, man. Wait, there was one. What were we just talking about? There was one that we were just messaging about too.
He's not talking about bullies.
He did talk about bullies, but there was one that we just brought up.
The price of prostitution.
It's gone up. Damn inflation.
God damn it, Biden.
Jesus.
Under Trump, we didn't have these prices.
We were just talking about it right now. The Dupe movies.
The Dupe? The Boop?
The remakes.
The remakes.
Oh, yeah, the Dupe. Is that
wait, Dupe is a fake. It's a fake.
Oh, okay.
So
Dupe boobs.
Dupe movies, remember? So we kind of touched on it before when we were talking about some of the movies that have been remade, right? but it just seems like it's getting
out of hand.
It's too much.
Well, it's not. I mean, it is out of. I think it's been out of hand, but I think it's just getting more and more ridiculous. And I think Crank said it right. He was like, "Are they just
running out of ideas? Running out of ideas.
So they're just having to remake stuff."
Yeah.
You know, and then not only that, some of the sequels that are coming out years later. I don't think I've seen a sequel when there is that much space in between movies that comes out really good.
Well, you always know that the first one or two are good. Like if it's a series, right? Like you know what I'm saying?
Fast and Furious.
Oh no, that excluded because I fucking hate that fucking movie. I fucking hate it. But
and I try watching them still. I try watching them.
But when you talk about
just
like,
to give them a chance.
I just watched 10 the other day, but
it's just
when you talk about like Austin Powers,
okay,
which one's a better one?
The
first one was the first one.
Well, the Spidey Shaggly wasn't bad.
Was that the second one?
Yeah.
Okay. Well,
Yeah.
But when you get to Goldfinger,
first
it was
or two,
already,
and
you're
then you
already
get
like,
the-
yeah.
But that's why you bring in a better girl every time to keep you interested.
Oh,
Because they brought in it was
They
Elizabeth
had-
Hurley in the
Yep.
first one,
Oh yeah.
Heather Graham in the
Heather
second
Graham in
one,
the second one.
and then
And
Beyonce in the third one.
But yeah, it still didn't hit.
Well,
Still
but the
didn't pop.
Beyonce one, like she,
Overdid it.
yeah, and I don't think she was sexy enough in the movie.
I think she tried to be like more of a Foxy Brown.
She
type.
was a Foxy
more
Brown, type
Foxy
of a
Brown.
character,
Foxy
yeah.
Brown.
But so like we were talking about like Good Burger, right? How long has it been since they made the first one?
That was
90? Was it late 90s, early 2000s?
Right?
a long time ago. I'm sure.
So
You're that guy.
so
Come on, he asked that question on purpose. He's come on.
well, and the reason I'm saying is it's been so long, right? 1997. So 25 years, 26 years.
Yeah.
26 years, right? And they came out with Good Burger 2.
Yeah,
I mean, well, how long did it take for them to come out with Dumb and Dumber 2?
Yeah, and it wasn't as good.
It wasn't
that was
as
a
good.
flop. That was a
It wasn't
flop.
as good. Now, the one I will tell you that had a long period of time that wasn't bad was the Bad Boy one,
Yeah.
the Bad Boy for Life. But they weren't. They were supposed to film 3 and 4 right away, and then they had a contract dispute, and then Martin Lawrence went mentally insane for a little
Yeah, that's
while,
right.
and then
That seems to happen a lot in
the other one
Hollywood.
was in an entanglement for a little bit. So
That's
there was a lot of things going on, man.
He was thinking about in a couple of years I'm gonna go slap Chris Rock in the face
Yeah,
for talking
you know?
about my wife.
So
I was sucking your son's friend's dick. What do you think about that? And Chris Rock, man.
He got him though. Dude. He got him. That was a good one.
oh man, but so you just come out with all these remakes and they don't hit. They don't
No.
hit. And so you mentioned they're coming out with. You mentioned it, right? They're
No,
coming out with Mean Girls.
Mean Girls.
Oh, he said
So
Mean
Crank said it.
Girls,
Mean
and
Girls
then
or-
Christmas with the Cranks.
Yes.
I just saw that on Netflix. Well, I mean, I have to see it on Netflix. I saw it looked like an ad, but people could
Yeah.
just make
Yeah.
shit up. So I don't really know if it's true.
But speaking of sequels that came out longer than what
Years
about
later?
Christmas Story?
there
Oh,
wasn't.
yeah.
Oh,
I haven't seen it though.
Christmas Story.
Right.
Yeah.
Because the dad had just passed away, or the mom.
Both of
Or
them.
they
Both
just
of them,
passed
yeah.
away. Yeah, that's right.
I haven't seen that one.
So
still, though.
this one,
That was a good one.
spoiler alert,
Too bad. If you ain't seen it, too bad.
this one is the prequel of
we're like,
Christmas. Yeah,
Wait, which one is it?
earmuffs.
the new one,
The
the
new
newest
one.
one that came out.
It's a prequel.
It's a prequel to the original Christmas Story.
So there's another one coming out?
No, a prequel. Like, so what this new one's about
Is what happened before.
is what is so okay. So remember the Christmas Story, the original.
Right,
Mhm.
right.
He's
yeah,
narrating it.
Right.
Yes.
So this is what that's about. The new one, him narrating that, making that story into a book because he's an author now.
Oh,
Ralph is an
okay.
author now.
Huh.
You gotta watch
Interesting.
it, man. It's
But I thought, now I'm confused because I thought I did watch it. The newer one that just came out.
then it came out last year.
Yeah.
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 So that's the one you're talking
He's
about?
in it.
Yeah,
yes.
he's in it.
And that's the one you're talking about?
Yeah,
Oh, well, why am I confused?
because there is a Christmas Story too, but it's with none of the original characters.
Right.
Not like this one has all the original characters, almost all the original characters.
That dude, actually, you bring him up. The Billing, I think his name's Billingsley. So he has right now. He did a podcast last year, and he did some more this year, and he's talking about Christmas movies. So it's interesting. You check it out because it's available on Spotify. But he talks about Christmas movies like Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. Well, I mean, it's more of a Thanksgiving movie, but still, when he talks about it, because he talks about John Candy, he talks about Steve Martin, and he's talking like all these little tidbits that you didn't know about. So if you go listen to the podcast, you'll be like, oh, shit. The original movie was more than 3 hours long.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles?
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. They had to go in and they had to edit down to like just under 2 hours. So like right off the bat, they just got rid of like an hour of that movie. But it's cool. Anyway, you brought him up. That's why I was like, thinking about it. I was like, because I listened to it the other day, and it was pretty good. I mean, he has one with Vince Vaughn,
but he's a director too, though.
He does all that stuff.
He's a director too. Yeah.
But he's not the one that. What am I thinking about? Who did porn?
Schwartz, Scotty Schwartz. Yeah, Schwartz. I swear I didn't. Why we know that, I don't know.
Not that I've seen it or anything.
I read it on TikTok. That's on TikTok. It was on TikTok, man.
Hey, you can't read on TikTok though.
I know. Subtitles.
There's subtitles.
Because most of them come with subtitles. I've had to do that whenever somebody's trying to sleep, and I gotta get up early in the morning. So I'm sitting there reading all of them. But
dude, that's funny.
So the Scream series. Scream 6 came out right last year or this year at the beginning of the year, whatever.
Yeah.
So they're already working on 7.
That's the one with Ortega then.
Well, 6 is with Ortega.
Okay, right.
Well, there's 7 now is not going to have Ortega.
6 and 7 were with Ortega.
No,
2 of them were with Ortega.
6.
No, she had 2 of them.
Well, 6 is the last one that came out, and that's the one with Ortega.
Okay, Ortega. Okay, she got stabbed in the first one when she was in the hospital bed the whole movie. And then she had another one with her sister.
So is that the 5th one then? Because I don't remember that one.
She has 2. She made 2.
21, 22.
I've only seen up to 3.
IDBM. Oh, damn it.
I've only seen up to 3.
Damn it. We interrupt this programming to technical difficulties.
Okay, so anyway, so I know she does come out in 6 for sure. Okay. So 7, she's not going to come out in because now she's going to have a scheduling conflict with Wednesday. So they're going back for season 2 to film that.
Not Beetlejuice.
That was coming out
not
too.
Beetlejuice.
Yeah.
So no, for real. Like, so she's not doing the next Scream because she can't because of Wednesday.
Because of Wednesday.
But I guess the new Beetlejuice is already done.
Yeah, I think so. Right? I think they've already filmed it. Yeah.
And she's like supposed to be Winona Ryder's daughter in that one.
I think so.
I believe so. Yeah.
I believe so. Yeah.
Well, and she's not gonna come out on that one, and now they're here talking about bringing in Nev Campbell and whatever. So
I don't.
Nobody cares anymore.
Well,
but that's the gripe.
But because movies, the first one is always usually the best.
Come out with better ideas now, man. Stop making remakes.
Yeah, like Debbie does San Antonio, like something like that.
Because White Man Can't Jump, the remake
that was bad.
She did all of. Oh, I didn't see it.
That was horrible.
I guess
I didn't even finish it. I got through half of it. I couldn't do it anymore.
So yeah.
And speaking of horrible, Hoarder's Halftime Show was bad too.
God bless you, Dolly Parton.
On that note. So another thing that kind of, I guess it's not a gripe, but
no,
but I don't know if y'all saw the whole thing with P. Diddy and Cassie. What's been going on?
Okay, first, who's Cassie?
Okay, so she's an artist, right?
She was part of his label.
Yeah, she signed with Bad Boy back in like 2005, right around there.
Does she have a hit?
Well,
she might have.
according
I think
to
she had one that I know of.
well, according to records, she has about 20 of them where P. Diddy hit her about 20 times. yeah.
The court records show
She was involved in P. Diddy's greatest hits.
Top 10 or top 20?
According to her allegations,
there were some that were top.
Did her face go platinum?
Oh, so she had some hits, all right. Or was it more that he had some hits?
So right off the bat, she doesn't listen.
He had to tell her more than once. But so she had me and you, Official Girl, and Long Way to Go. Those are her like top three. I think if you were to hear her, you might maybe recognize one, but she was more of a feature artist, so she would come out on other people's stuff like as a feature,
like a Nelly like background.
So something like that, right? She has her own stuff, but she wasn't really known for her own stuff. She was known because she signed with Bad Boys, and I think it was 2005. Around 2006 is where P. Diddy started to he was attracted to her, so he wanted to get her as an interest, like a love interest, right?
He wanted to bump ugly.
He wanted to bump ugly.
He R. Kelly'd her.
He R. Kelly'd her. She was pretty young, but I think she was already 18. I think when she signed.
At least she was of age.
Yeah. So the allegations are that he basically physically abused her, right? He was an abuser, and that's what she calls him. She calls him like he's textbook what an abuser would be. Some of the allegations include rape, battery, forced sex acts with male sex workers.
Isn't that rape, forced sex?
Well, yeah, but not only did he rape her,
he had other people.
He was getting her to. So what would happen is he also got her into drugs, right? Into a lot of like opioids, all these different things, heavy stuff.
Oh wait, we can't say rape, right? We had to say S-aid.
S-aid?
Like in TikTok, S-aid. Oh, he S-aid her. Oh, he alive her.
Oh my goodness.
So we can't say we can't say the R word.
Well, we already said it too. I'm not gonna go back and delete the time we said it. We're not gonna do that.
So what he would do is he would have her take these drugs that she didn't want to take, and he would get her so high, get her so messed up to where then she was just kind of going with the flow. Right. And so a couple of the allegations are that he would get these male sex workers and bring them in, and they were like big old buff, like, these black dudes, right?
Yeah.
And he would force her to have sex with them or do, sexual acts with them.
Yep.
And what he would call them, they were called freak offs. So he would have them come in or
FOs.
That's what they're called, right? So he would have them come in and do sex acts with her. And it wasn't only like, okay, in the privacy of their own room, he would have her do that sometimes in his big parties that he was having. And he would have her like, strip, you got to strip now. And she's like, well, hold on. She's over here thinking she's in a relationship with this dude. And he's kind of like making her do stuff. Hey, strip. I need you to strip right now. Start stripping in front of me.
Yep.
And in this party, and they would be talking shit about her and be like, see, that's why you can't trust hoes. See how, or hey, I need you to go sleep with this dude. You're going to sleep with this dude right now. And would have somebody having sex with her and be like, see, that's why you can't trust these hoes. Because the minute I said do it, she jumped on it real quick. Like he was just, he was manipulative,
But she's high, or she's like not all there. She's not autopilot, really.
Yeah, right. Basically, right?
Yeah.
So
she had no idea.
And then not only that, even the time where she was conscious enough to like, I don't want to do this. If she didn't, he would beat her. If she didn't want to, or if she pushed back, he would beat her to the point like they were saying one time, he had her on the floor and kicked her about like 19 times in the face. And she was bleeding. And what he would do whenever he would abuse her is he would put her in a hotel room. And a nice hotel room, but she had to stay there, and he would have his people watching the room where she couldn't leave. Mm-hmm. So that way nobody would see her bruises. Nobody would see her all messed up.
And a lot of the times that it did happen, there were other people in the room, so everybody saw it.
Everybody saw it.
So it's not like her word against his. He has workers that were in the room and saw him doing that, beating the shit out of her, giving her drugs, doing all that. And some of the other ones were human trafficking, sex trafficking. That he was doing like he was doing a bunch of stuff.
So, and here's some other stuff. Some of the abuse was actually, it wasn't like in private. It was public. Like let's say in a those big hotels where they have cameras everywhere.
Oh yes.
He paid hotels up to $50,000 to erase all their footage.
Yep.
So that way he wouldn't, he wouldn't get busted, basically.
So one of the times that they were in the hotel and he was actually throwing shit in the hallway somewhere where he was visible, and he paid the hotel to delete that video of him doing that and of him beating the shit out of her.
Yeah,
basically.
And so people were scared to come out and say anything against him because they were afraid of what he might do to them, right? So all of this, when you think about it, and not only that, now after she's come out, because she was suing him for like $30 million.
30 or 50 or something
like that, right? Well,
that's what I was like. That's all.
Yeah, exactly. So, but here's the reason she was going after the money, right? Because a lot of people were like, "Oh yeah, of course she's going for the money." When he first signed her, he basically took everything from her, meaning he had access and he was basically in charge of everything. Her house, her car,
kind of like the Blind Side guy.
Yes,
right. Yeah. Remember what he's suing for?
But not only his, it wasn't only her stuff. It was even her parents' stuff. So her parents didn't even have they didn't own their own stuff.
He basically
owned everything, right? And like he said, even the medical records. Whenever she ended up in the hospital with stuff that he did to her, all the MRIs, all the stuff would get emailed to him.
Yep,
and he would pay for it all.
And he had access to everything.
So she never had access to anything. He was in control of everything.
So she was suing him, right, for all these millions of dollars. And the day that she goes and files the actual, charges, the next day he settles out of court. It doesn't say how much he settled for, but I can guarantee you it wasn't
$50,000.
It wasn't $50,000. I'm pretty sure she got a good hefty.
She had to have got a hefty thing.
I got a question.
Well, there's a lot of questions, but go ahead. What you got?
How is this different from Danny Masterson?
Honestly,
I think
this is worse.
Worse, exactly.
So
I think this is way
worse. It's
well, and not only that,
no doubt.
Way worse. Even when the settlement came out, there's already been like 3 or 4 other girls that have come out.
2 other people came out.
have already come out and said he did this to me.
90 and 91.
Yeah, 91, 97. Yeah, there's been a few that come out.
He pulled the Bill Cosby on him and drugged him and who knows, did all this other stuff to him. So
you're right. It's way worse. It's way worse.
Way worse.
I'm again, when she's doing these charges, right? I think this was like more of a civil suit to get her money.
Right. Yep.
My thinking is the state going to pick this up?
Shouldn't they? I mean, they can't, right?
Why can't they?
Is it like double jeopardy?
Well, no, because you have a civil and then you have criminal.
Not double jeopardy.
Yeah, not double jeopardy because you have civil and then you have criminal.
Right.
Criminal would put him in jail.
Yeah. Civil is just money.
Civil is just money.
Yeah. So the other people that have been, because of all this that's come out, Kesha, on her song, she starts that TikTok song and says, "Wake up in the morning feeling like P. Diddy." She changed the lyrics and she said, feeling like me. 50 Cent came out and said, hold up, like there's still some more shit that's going to come out about this motherfucker. Like basically that's what he said. Like, of course, it's one of those where he put it on Instagram and he deleted it. So,
but people have access to it because they saw it. Yeah.
So he's like, dude, like for somebody to pay that amount, whatever amount of money he did, it's not going to go away really fast.
A couple other things.
So other stuff can come out.
Yeah, a couple other allegations that came out, of course, is he retaliated against people that he thought had relationships with her. So like there was a rapper, Wale, right?
Kid Cudi.
Well, Wale and Kid Cudi. So Wale, they say that they dangled him over a balcony.
Like 17 floors?
Yeah. Now he comes out and he debunks that. He says it never happened. That that was from a movie. However, I feel he just didn't want to look like a little bitch, right? Like the way Ice Ice Baby did,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Like the way, what's his name?
Vanilla
Vanilla
Ice?
Ice.
Vanilla Ice.
I don't
Where
know.
he was hung over the balcony by Suge Knight.
Oh, okay. Well, that Suge Knight.
Yeah,
You don't
because he
that
didn't want to
shit.
sign a contract. He didn't want to sign a contract with them, so they held him over the balcony.
I
and-
mean, Suge Knight is 10 times more scary than P. Diddy, dude. Money or no money.
so
You know
so,
that motherfucker.
so then
Some
another
stories.
allegation is Kid Cudi.
Kid Cudi.
He basically tells her, "Hey, I'm gonna blow this motherfucking shit up," and sure enough, his car blows up in his driveway, right? So of course he wasn't in it, but it blew up, sending a message, right? Another allegation is that they were all together. He got all his people and heard that Suge Knight was in this one place, and he's like, "I'm gonna go get this dude. I'm gonna take him out. Finally, I'm gonna kill him." Gets his gun and then gives her the gun to hold.
Right. Yeah.
And then all the people, they all go out there. Well, they ended up not getting him, but they say that's why they believe the whole story of he's involved in the whole Tupac killing because he's the one that sent the order out. And it wasn't only supposed to be Pac, it was supposed to be him and Suge that they took out.
Yeah, I believe that.
And so, you think about it, all this money, right, that he had, and he was manipulating and he was controlling.
And I believe he probably killed Biggie too.
Oh yeah.
Because
You
Biggie
think
was
so?
Because Biggie was on his label.
That's a conspiracy right there.
Biggie was on his label.
Yeah.
And Biggie was way bigger than fucking.
Oh yeah.
Well,
he was just a
Yes.
sideshow. He was
Yeah,
just
yeah.
a sideshow to
Yeah.
everything.
He was what was the background singer we're talking about? Oh, he was the what's her name?
The Cassie.
The Cassie to Biggie. He was the Cassie to Biggie, man.
He was the what was her name? What was Biggie's wife's name? The Faith. He was the Faith.
Yeah,
He was the
he
Faith
was the
of-
Faith.
I don't want to say eight.
But Faith had hits that I knew of.
Yeah,
She did have hits.
Biggie's biggest hits.
No. I heard more about Faith than I heard about this Cassie girl. I never heard about this
I
Cassie
never
girl.
heard of it before. She brought it. Roxanne brought it up to me, and I'm like, okay, what's the big deal? I hadn't read up about it, and then you brought it up again. And I said, well, let me read what's going on. And I mean, it's kind of a long article, but when you read about all the shit that's
We just touched on some of the
that's
stuff,
just
bro.
that's
Like,
just
there's
a
so much
tip.
stuff in there.
This is the first I'm ever hearing it.
It's crazy.
I've never heard of it.
There was some TikToks on it, and there were some things that came out. But
The biggest thing about it, though, and like you're probably right. Cranky's probably right because something's gonna come out
it has to.
for him to pay whatever amount of money that he paid her,
For it not
however
to
much
come
she
out.
wanted. And it's like, and then the thing was, or they said that she was gonna write a book.
Yes.
So that was another thing that why maybe he was like, well, fuck that. I'm not gonna, we put it on a book.
You never know. He might have put a stipulation like, "Hey, I'll do this. I'll give you this."
Yeah,
but
don't,
you can't do
do
this.
right.
So
So
there could be, and the only reason she came out because she wasn't going to come out. So what would happen is when she would go missing, she would leave and she would go to another state. She would go somewhere. His people would track her down, and then they would forcibly either bring her or he would show up to where she was at, and then he would either beat her or he would physically force her back. Right. So just recently, so she got married to this guy, and she was pregnant, and he found her. Diddy found her again and was like, "I need you to come. We have a FO that you're gonna do," and she's like, "No, I'm not doing this. I'm pregnant." He's like, "I don't care." So he kept trying and trying. Well, she got to the point where she was like, "I'm sorry, I'm not gonna be scared anymore. I'm not doing this," and that's where she started with the allegations. Everything started coming out. Well, because he was trying to get her to come, and she was already married, she had to tell her husband everything. So she finally comes out and explains everything to him, and he's like, "Fuck that, we're going.
Right.
We're now the charges are being filed."
Yeah.
And so that's how everything came out into play.
So that's her allegations, and then the other people that came out just last week. It was
Mhm.
Thanksgiving week when
Yep.
two more came out, and then there was another one that was talking on I think they were talking on a podcast or something like that. That she came out and said that she was pregnant, not Cassie, somebody else. No, she was pregnant, and she said, "No, we're gonna go abort this baby, right? We're gonna go kill it." And basically, she's like, "No, you're not gonna do that." So he stomped her,
Mhm.
He had her on the floor, kicked her in the stomach, like I don't know how many times, like basically just trying to
Kill the baby,
Kill the baby, basically. So that's another allegation from somebody else. So
I mean, this just got money, but I think it's like what we talked about in the last episode. What kind of money do you have? You got probation money, or you got jail money?
Pay you off money.
Bill Cosby have
probation money?
P. Diddy money?
Well, yeah, but he was in jail, but they let him out already.
Yeah, but I mean, he served time though. Is this guy gonna serve time?
Oh, that's the thing.
I
don't know, man.
Doesn't Danny Masterhand have P. Diddy money?
I don't think he has P. Diddy money.
So. He's got he don't even have probation money.
He did the 70s show for how many seasons?
Yeah,
you get freaking
royalties
and so much from it.
Well, we were talking about that too, right? With the TJ Ford, because you said, oh, remember I told you, he's on the game and this and that. Okay, he's trying to win money, and then you said, well, shouldn't he have money?
Yeah,
but even Name Drop Raj said these dudes don't know how to spend their money in the NBA.
Well, which is true. We don't know how Danny Masterson spent his money, so he could not have any money. He doesn't even have probation.
Well, we know
money.
that it was on a nice house and drugs.
A lot of it.
And they're spinning and they're spinning.
And I mean, Name Drop Raj had a good point though. When you look at even right now, when you look at the NBA and you look at you're watching the Spurs game and you see the guys that aren't even suited up, but you see the big ass chain that they have on, it's like you're not making Tim Duncan money, you're not making LeBron money, you're probably on the league minimum.
You know what the league minimum is in the NBA?
What is
it? It's still over $1 million.
Really?
It used to be less.
No, it's over.
It used to be like what's the signing for baseball?
The baseball is
they're only like 200,000, 300,000.
And the league minimum for the 6 rounders in football don't even make freaking I don't even think they make 6 figures.
No, they do. So remember when the dumbass from the Cowboys got busted for stealing boxers and cologne, right?
Joseph.
Right, Joseph. So at the time, the league minimum was $535,000 for the year. So which came out to about $33,000 to $35,000 a game. So as long as he suited up, he got a check.
Got that money,
right?
Yeah.
The league minimum now is $750,000.
The league minimum.
That's league minimum.
Okay, what's the league minimum for NBA?
So league minimum for NBA.
The last guy on the freaking bench, the number 15 guy, because there's 15 men on the roster in the NBA.
League.
I want to say it's not that much. I want to say it's probably not even.
I think it's 7 figures, man.
You think so?
Yeah.
Well, it's gonna be really. So you think it's over $1 million?
Because 1.1.
Holy.
What the?
Just for signing.
But you know what though? Again, they have to be suited up though. You know that, right?
Yeah, the 15 guy ain't suited up.
Yeah.
Yeah, it only goes 13 deep.
And right.
14, 15.
So
12, 13.
But if you think about it, because NBA, so now you know the NFL, their league minimum is $750,000, right? So if they suit up every game, they're getting $44,000 a game. But NBA, because they have 82 games, they're getting about $13,000 a game, right? But you think about it though, even if they're getting that, some of these chains literally was one check.
Yes.
Yeah.
It's like a Rolex.
Yeah.
It's like a Rolex.
So Roger has a point where he says, dude, these guys don't know how to spend their money. They don't know how to invest. They don't know how to, you know what I mean? It's just.
So I have a question for you guys in those terms, because I was watching college, over the weekend, and I remember seeing, I don't remember what team it was, but I remember seeing somebody on the bench that had a jersey on, because if they're injured, most of the time they'll at least have their jersey on or whatever, but they'll be on the sideline. This dude had a fucking chain that, he was, let's just say it, if he was a rapper, it would fit.
Yeah.
Because that fucking chain was so huge. It was blinged out. It was gold. There was diamonds. There was all. I'm like, this dude's in college. So we know what that what is it? NIL, the name, image, likeness thing, where they're able to do it. And even here, UTSA, they got guys that signed up for that.
Only Frank Harris.
Well, no, Cardenas too.
Yeah.
I'm throwing out names.
I think they had 3 guys.
The tight end?
Yeah, he's got one. He's with Wainwright.
One of the defensive guys too. I can't remember who. I think it was a linebacker.
They had several guys, but I don't know. It goes back to, okay, well, should we be paying them? Should we not be paying? We had didn't we talk about it?
We did talk about it.
Maybe they should be paying them, or maybe they shouldn't be paying them. but it's like, how do you teach them to manage that money?
Exactly.
And how much money are they getting?
They
because they're not getting a lot, but shit, man.
So I'll tell you this, you're right. They need to, they need, and they do, that they do actually have people that come in to, and this is certain universities, not all of them, right?
Yeah.
And honestly, it's not even universities. It's when they made it into the, They have people come in and say, hey, we're going to show you, and we're going to guide you so that way you don't blow it, right?
Oh, by the way, there's a sidebar. We went off the main topic.
Sidebar.
It kind of,
but it all, because we're talking about the money, right? How much money? Because we were talking about Masterson. Did he have P. Diddy money? Well, he could have had P. Diddy money, but he didn't because he probably don't know how to spend it.
Just people know sidebar. Sidebar.
However, I think they need to start teaching them in college. And I'm sorry, but I think we've talked about this. In high school, they should start teaching people how to deal with money.
Yeah.
Because people come out of high school and don't know how to get a job, don't know how to fill out an application. Man, I literally had
how to write a check anymore,
bro.
Didn't even know what.
Somebody was filling out an application, and it's one of the kids, and they're like, "Gender, what's that?" I'm like, well, before it used to be defined. It's a little. It's difficult now. It used to be two. I mean, it literally says male, female, other. So.
You can go to anything. If you sign up for anything online, it's like, male, female, non-binary.
Yeah. So
another sidebar.
But I'm just thinking they need to start teaching these people, because by the time they get to college, they're gonna have some of their own money.
Yeah.
Whether they're getting scholarships, whether they're getting financial aid, whatever they're getting money.
Yeah.
You need to teach them how to use it, and then of course when they get out of there, I mean, they don't know how to spend it. So I really feel that Masterson had a lot of money.
He just used it all up.
He just used it all up.
He used it for the wrong.
Yeah. It
comes back around, man. We're back. We're right back on topic. Right back on topic. But I mean, I think you said it. Something else is going to happen. Somebody else is going to either. The point that I want to bring up was 50 Cent was talking too. He said there's more shit that's going to come out. He goes, now you got blood in the water. So now you got all these sharks out here
that are going to be
trying to go after you now because you did well. You just fucking gave the money, right? But that's a way for him to keep all the real shit from coming out.
Yeah.
And that's not what happened in Masterson's case, because that fucking they.
No, but he did give her money though.
He did.
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he did give her money.
But he ran out.
That's right. Yeah.
That's like he couldn't pay the bill no more, man.
That's what name drop says all the time, man. It runs out when this money runs. It's like with Michael Jackson too. I mean, people are stepping on Michael Jackson's grave now because he's dead, because he can't defend himself, because the money ain't coming in no more.
Yep. The thing that really intrigued me or gets me thinking now. You've heard a lot of people I'm sure you have, about P. Diddy, where he's kind of in the closet.
Oh yeah,
I heard that.
You never heard that? Oh, dude, I've heard lots of stories that at his parties are so wild that you literally have to be invited to be at one of his parties, because there's some crazy stuff that goes down, and they're like sexual parties.
Yeah.
Right. And so the thing that happened with Cassie is that when he was hiring these male sex workers, a lot of people feel that it's because he wanted to see them in action rather than her.
Oh, he's a cuck then.
No. Well, yes, but the thing that's going on with that is that they're saying that he's probably a closet, like you said. Like he's actually.
I mean, he was literally getting the guy's male part and inserting it into her. He was doing, or tell me how it feels, tell me that you like it, like stuff like that. And it's like, what?
Yeah.
And this is him sitting on the side filming a lot of it, and he filmed a lot of this stuff and would take pictures.
That's part of those FOs.
Yeah. And what she did is she was like, some of the stuff was on her phone, so she was trying to delete it. Well, she claims that at one time on a flight back that he forced her to watch one of them.
He made her watch it.
On the plane. And she was like, what the hell? I thought all that stuff was gone. Like it was deleted. No, he has all this stuff saved. So it's some crazy stuff. And I mean, you think about it, a lot of people that have been in his circle that have either crossed him or have separated from him have died. A lot of people.
Yeah.
A lot of people, including his wife. She never married him. She never married him.
Oh,
I think that was her. I think that was the best move she ever made.
No, she ever comes out and says something, and like, oh,
but
shit.
a lot of people, man, have said that he gets rid of people basically.
Wow.
Right. But
that's interesting.
You think about it, freaking exactly. You think about it, freaking. Even what's his name? JB Fox.
Yeah, I heard about that.
I heard about that. They're saying that what happened to him is similar to what's happened to a lot of other people that have been in P. Diddy's circle. He got sick, and all of a sudden,
nobody knows what happened.
Yeah, he almost died. So.
Dang.
I mean, that's how much money
working with
has.
the Russian mob
and power. He has a lot of power, man.
Well, he did because he was working with Oprah and he was doing those specials on ABC. Like what? How is that going to change him now? Like, what are people going to be thinking about him now? Because at that point, he was doing like because the show that he put out was like not a churchy thing, but it was kind of like one of those feel good movies. Yeah. Now what? Like, are people going to start like distancing themselves from him?
I mean, they should, right?
Well, I mean,
you would think so.
You would think if they're smart, they would, right? But a lot of people, because they never came out to say anything about it, it's because they're scared. So I'm pretty sure that until he's behind bars, a lot of people are not going to separate themselves or come out vocally because of the fact that they're scared.
Because what is he doing? Like, he's probably looking at him like say something. Are you gonna say something?
Say something.
But he's not Suge Knight though, man. He's not scary like Suge Knight.
I bet you he has bodyguards that are. You know what I mean?
Like, Suge Knight doesn't even have to have that money. He can look at you and be like, my bad, brother.
Here's my check.
Yes.
Here's my
I'm
check.
moving to this country.
You saw what was it, the NWA movie?
Yes.
The way they portray him.
Oh.
You know what I mean? He was just a bully.
He was. Speaking of bullies, but you know what? Speaking of all this, P. Diddy and all this, it makes me respect Dwight Howard a lot more because they tried to accuse him.
Yeah.
And Dwight Howard
story.
Said, but it was consensual. I respect Dwight Howard a lot for that.
Well,
man.
Yeah, man.
You know what I mean? Just admit it.
So the thing was that did they try to blackmail him?
Well, what they said is that he forced himself on them.
And the guy was a
It was a guy.
It was a guy, right?
Okay.
And I mean, he was there, and he was there for that. But that Dwight Howard ended up bringing somebody else in.
Okay.
And he wasn't down with that.
Right.
And that Dwight Howard basically was forcing himself, and when the dude was like pushing back, that he was freaking beating him up because he was like, nah, like, you're gonna do this, right?
Right.
And when the dude came out and said, yeah, he made me do this, Dwight Howard was like, no, it was consensual. We were all involved in that.
We're all circle jerking up in there. It was all good.
So,
Getting that circle jerk, working out my arms.
Yeah, so I'm curious to see how this is gonna play out, right? I want to see what's gonna come from it. I mean,
it can't be the end of it.
I know. I mean, so I mentioned it when we talked about the whole Tupac thing, right? And with his involvement. So, and I said, I'm curious to see how this is gonna play out. Well, guess what? More stuff's coming out, and I guarantee you that some of that is gonna be involved in this. They're gonna start tying it all together.
They arrested that dude.
Oh yeah.
Supposedly killed Tupac.
Yeah, and he supposedly. He didn't. He says it was his nephew that did, but he was there and happened.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
But he was there that day that it happened.
No, in Texas, you did it.
You did it, exactly.
In Texas, you did it.
So, but he says that. He says this is what it is. So,
wow. P. Diddy got that power, I guess. Shit. All right, so let's lighten it. Let's lighten things up a little bit. Yeah. No, that's later. After I'll be lightening something. Lose a couple of pounds. But so last week, we are from San Antonio. In case you didn't know that. So last week during when was it? Friday?
It was Tuesday.
It was
Tuesday?
Tuesday.
It was Tuesday.
So the Clippers were playing here in San Antonio, and of course Kawhi Leonard was an old teammate of ours, and we know
We
how
don't take
his
him
exit.
anymore, but yeah.
Well, you know how his exit was.
Yeah.
It was pretty bad.
Yeah.
You know, he was hurt.
Yeah.
His family got involved. Yeah, quote unquote, air quotes. Good one,
Yes.
good one, Cranky.
Yeah.
So when he left here, it left a bad taste in everybody's mouth.
Yeah.
Everybody was like, "Whoa, this fucking guy." Blah,
Are you
blah, blah.
passing over to me to finish? Or
Yeah,
what?
yeah, you
Oh,
can-
okay.
Well, I saw you put
Louis-
that one down. So,
Louis passing the buck over.
he left. Right. It was a sore subject for a while,
For everybody.
and then for him to go the very next year and go win a championship, it
Hurt more.
It hurt more.
Yeah.
Hurt more.
You know what I mean?
It
So
did. That's true, because then it happened. It was like, motherfucker.
yeah,
man.
you weren't hurt.
You weren't fucking
Yeah.
hurt.
But I mean, it shouldn't have happened because the Warriors were hurt that year.
Yeah.
Durant got hurt. Klay Thompson was hurt. I mean, it wouldn't have happened if those two guys were playing.
And he was out for what, 2 years? A year and a half?
Durant was out because he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
And then Klay tore his ACL.
ACL.
Yeah, he was gone
He
for
was gone.
a long time.
Yeah.
So what happened at the game was, as any team would do, not Spurs fans only. Just imagine if it was another team that was in the same situation and another player playing on another team comes to your home court, you start booing, right? Every time he gets the ball, every time he's shooting a free throw, you start booing. Well, Popovich, as you know, I don't know what I'm going to call it, but he gets on the microphone
While he's shooting a free throw.
while he's shooting, after he shoots a free throw, and in between his
Right
free
before the
throws,
second one, yeah.
he gets on the mic and says, basically, we're better than this. We shouldn't be booing. Let the guys play. Blah blah blah.
Yeah.
Right. And then caused even more booing.
Yeah, it went to a whole, because honestly, they were just booing him.
Yeah.
Right? They were only booing him, which is understandable. I'm sorry, but our Spurs fans are, you can say they're like Cowboy fans. They're like, we're so passionate about our team,
Passionate.
and this is the year, you know.
Yeah.
It's how we feel, right?
It's supposed to change.
Now, they weren't only booing Kawhi after that. They started booing the rest of the team every time somebody went to the free throw line, and it was booing harder and harder and louder.
Yeah.
So I think he says at the end when he does his post-game interview, you know, why did you do that? He goes, you don't poke the bear. Well, I think he poked the bear because he poked the fans, right? And the fans responded. He was afraid Kawhi responding to the booing,
Right.
but the fans responded more to Pop telling them not to. It's like telling the kid, "Don't do this."
They're
gonna do it.
They're gonna do it, and they're gonna do it even more. So,
And that was the question on Dan Patrick this morning.
Uh-huh.
They brought it up on Dan Patrick's morning,
Oh,
and they said, one of the guys asked Dan Patrick, so when they continue booing, were they still booing Kawhi, or were they booing Pop?
Yeah.
You know, and
It kind of seemed to me, even after he finished saying it, and they started booing louder.
yeah.
It was
They
almost
did.
like a fuck you to him. Like,
Yeah.
why did you have to tell us that shit? Like, and it seemed like the boos definitely got louder after that.
I think what Pop don't understand is that San Antonio is a majority Hispanics, and when you just poke the bear.
Yes.
We're the bear.
yes.
And
Yeah.
you're telling Mexicans not to do stuff. We're gonna do stuff, man. You know.
I mean, I think we've seen it since we were babies. Don't touch that; it's hot. And you put your hand on it. You know what I mean?
Yes.
So here, okay. So I kind of, I wasn't praising Pop, but I was like, I get what he's saying. Where San Antonio we've always done things classy. Even when we won, it wasn't a.
Have we though?
Hold on. I'm talking about the team, though. I'm talking about the team.
Okay.
We're going up in our converse and you know,
Yeah.
all that shooting guns and all that stuff, that's different. But the team-wise, I think it was always classy. It was never a big show. Even when we won, it was we were humble, right? We were humble.
But
But
he didn't destroy the fucking city, basically.
exactly. But I think that's what he meant, right? And I get it. However, we don't like this dude. And everybody has made it known. Nobody likes Kawhi. Everybody's upset. Everybody's still upset. They're gonna be upset until he retires. It doesn't matter.
Yep.
And they're gonna boo him every single time. The thing is that him and Kawhi are still close.
Yeah, man.
And so now it seems like you're kissing his ass and taking his side. So a lot of the people that have been saying Pop needs to go, I think now it's even more.
It's even worse.
Yeah. They're going to be pushing for that.
I don't think they're still close. I think they just buried the hatchet. I think they just like, all right, you left.
But they talk though.
Yeah,
Well,
they still talk because they're coaching player.
Well, then he needs to understand. Okay, and then that's between them.
Yeah,
that's between them. Okay, they buried the hatchet or whatever. He left on bad terms. Blah blah blah. Pop forgives him, I guess. Whatever. But we're still hurt.
Yeah.
The fucking fans are still hurt. So don't and like I said, I at first I was like, oh, okay. Well, I didn't really think much about it. I thought, okay, that's just Pop, whatever. But after a while, I started thinking, I'm like, dude, we need to get rid of him.
Well, you think about relationships, right? And if you pop up somewhere and you happen to see your ex,
P. Diddy.
There goes your car, man.
There's going to be some words, there's going to be some looks, there's going to be some, right? Because there's still some animosity there. And a lot of times, not between you and the ex, it's between your new person and the ex.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Well, guess what? We don't like the ex.
Mm-hmm.
And we're gonna let him know every single time he shows up into our house.
And that's even gonna be worse. It's even gonna be worse now.
A lot of things I hear on sports talk a lot because I listen to a lot of sports talk. They always talk about NFL being a copycat league.
Mm-hmm.
You copy plays from a certain team because you won that first game and you won the game against them, so you copy their plays so you could beat that team.
Right.
I feel the same NBA same way as a copycat league into where when LeBron left Cleveland, everybody booed him when he left Cleveland. Mm-hmm. When Durant left OKC, everybody booed him when he left OKC. So when Kawhi left San Antonio, everybody booed him. But the difference between LeBron and Durant is they left when their contract was up.
Yep.
They did it the right way.
Yep.
And that's what people don't understand.
Yeah.
Kawhi didn't do it the right way.
Yeah.
He forced his way out like Harden did for the past 5 teams that he was playing for.
Like, I don't think the fans care that he left on their team, though.
Like, let your contract expire. Then, like LeBron and even though LeBron is the biggest flopper in the freaking world, he did it the right way, dude. He played out his contracts all the time, and then he left.
And whether he had an option or not,
so
if he didn't
Durant.
take the option, like whatever it was, it was where he was able to go into free agency.
Yes,
it wasn't like I
exactly.
need to leave, I want to leave, and I'm gone. Yeah,
just like Durant. Durant did the same thing. Durant's never been traded. He got traded once to Phoenix. That was it.
Yeah,
but he didn't force his way out of Brooklyn. They traded for him.
Yeah,
So I mean, it's different here because we never had a player like that to freaking want to get out like the way he forced his way out, or Uncle Dennis, or whoever.
Yeah,
and
his sister.
Yes.
God damn it.
So we'll be seeing that. I think we'll be seeing some collateral damage from that.
Yeah.
So the booing is what's it called? Is like
it's warranted.
There you go. Yeah. You're gonna
get deserved.
And sadly, we're not over it.
No.
Because everybody else is over it already. All the teams that everybody else has left, like all their star players left, they're over it already. Like 1 year, and that was it.
Yeah.
You can probably ask any Spurs fan here and ask them if they still have a Kawhi this or Kawhi shirt or Kawhi thing. No, they probably got rid of them.
Yeah, they burned them.
They burned them, got rid of them.
Yep.
Jerseys. Like how many people you see walking around with Kawhi? Yeah, because like some people like to wear old style jerseys.
Yeah.
Like even me when I made a old Sean Elliott jersey. Sean Elliott never did anything wrong to us, right?
Nope.
But how many people are gonna walk around with the fucking?
When we shipped them off, he came back.
He didn't want to leave.
No, he didn't.
No, we shipped him off.
Yeah,
that was
he didn't
business
like
part.
Detroit, man.
No,
He hated Detroit, dude.
That was a business part of it. Is that they just got it, and it was like, who's the other dude? The other dude they sent with him. There was some white dude. I don't remember his name.
Well,
that's why you remember his name.
The white dude.
That's why you remember his name.
But yeah, no, I mean, I can pretty much guarantee that some people don't have any more Kawhi stuff in their house at all.
But he's the hot chick.
David Wood.
But Kawhi is a hot ex-girlfriend that if she comes back, all right, girl, I'll give one more chance. You gotta give one more chance. Don't do it wrong this time, though.
Hey, but who did we get for Sean Elliott?
Dennis.
Yep.
Dennis
Rodman.
Dennis Rodman.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Rodman.
And he didn't last.
Mm-mm.
Then went to Chicago, won rings.
That's fucked up, dude.
Yep.
Dennis Rodman is the reason why Spurs culture is Spurs culture.
Yep.
You know, they didn't, Dennis Rodman, he bashed the Spurs image.
Yep.
And they didn't want that no more after Dennis was here.
Yep.
Well, it's like you either you liked him or you didn't like him. And
But
he would be on the court. He'd be, what freaked me out all the time was that every time he'd come out of the game, he'd take his shoes off.
Yeah.
So he's sitting there, and it was just like, well, I don't know how I felt about that, but it's like, he's gonna do whatever he wants to do.
He was a bad boy image, and the Spurs didn't like that. They didn't want bad boy. They didn't want any negativity to their team.
But they traded for him, though.
They did.
And I remember when he got here too, and he made that announcement at the Alamo Dome, and he's like, "Well, when I get on the court, I get solid." Everyone,
But he was a bad boy in Detroit.
Yep.
But he didn't have that bad boy image in Detroit.
Well, he did
Not till
it because he
got
was
here.
surrounded with other bad boys. He had
Yeah.
Bill Lambier.
He
You know
had,
what I mean?
he had bigger superstar that took the spotlight off him.
Yeah.
Isaiah,
Yeah,
Isaiah,
he had Dirks. You know what I mean? He
Lambier,
had other people, and he just
the
wherever he went, he
microwave.
carried it.
He had the microwave.
The microwave.
I just remember the part where he was in the parking lot with a shotgun to his head.
When
You don't
was
remember that part?
No.
Yeah, you gotta watch that movie, man. His
Mhm.
Dennis Rodman movie. He was in the Detroit parking lot with a shotgun.
Oh,
He almost killed himself.
Yep.
wow. Well, we went from the Spurs to Dennis Rodman.
That's our key.
Yeah,
That's
I
our
think
cue
that's
right
our
there.
cue right there, man. To use,
That's our cue.
call it quits, man. So that was pretty good.
Yep.
All right, any parting shots? Well, we just had a parting shot.
Nope.
No,
Go Cowboys.
we're all talked out. All right, man.
I
Well,
just
that's
don't know
it.
how Del Loco gets more listens than we do.
How do we know? That's true.
Mm.
I don't know. I gotta start talking like this after a while. and then maybe I'll get it, maybe, because I like that go over here, like come over here on the west side, vato, and, that's how it is, vato. That's how it is.
Shots fired.
Oh,
Shots
we've
fired.
we've been firing shots for a while.
We just had it.
they just haven't heard them.
And our shit has to be more entertaining than theirs because our lesson's longer than their 25 minutes of freaking, talking.
But I get it. Are we gonna go into this? Are we gonna go into it?
I think we're gonna save this one for the next one. I think there it is. There, yeah.
Okay.
We're gonna do
Okay. We'll wait. We'll wait for
But the
the
shot
next.
has been fired.
But the volley is out.
Yep.
All right, man. Well, that was a good one.
Yep. Until
Thanks.
next week.
Until next week, man. We'll see y'all later.
Peace.
Later.